everybody. Welcome to the SOS Small Business Success Podcast. We're working our way through February of 2021. And we thought 2020 was hard. I think 2021 is showing some serious challenges for us as well. And I know a lot of people are struggling right now. And the reason why I can say that is because I'm one of those people that is struggling right now too. I feel uninspired. I feel burnt out. I feel overwhelmed. I feel stressed. I feel like there's nothing to look forward to. And I know that's a big part of everything that we've all been experiencing, but how are we handling it? How are we getting through it? So welcome to the podcast today. I'm your host, Bonnie Bonadeo. And, I really strive to say that I'm helping you build your brand that will help you survive while developing you so that you can thrive. But the majority of the conversations that I'm having is really surrounded by you feeling more confident, you feeling as though you trust yourself, you believe in yourself. And that ends up being one of our strategies, which is a mindset. But today we're going to talk about it from more of an operational standpoint, as well as a mindset standpoint. So, the strategy that I work within when I'm coaching my clients and providing trainings, providing support, and even on this podcast is all about finding strategic opportunities for success. Well, sometimes those strategic opportunities that we need for success is something personal for us, something more in alignment with how we're feeling and how we're doing than the actions we're taking in order to build or drive our business into a different place. The only way that our businesses are going to succeed is if we succeed. And if you're challenged right now by feeling inspired, by feeling motivated, by feeling competent and confident, then today's podcast might help you out a little bit to be able to do that. So we say that this SOM strategy that we work within is all about sales, operations, mindset, marketing, and education. And sales is always obviously one of those areas that I think people are uncomfortable in. And I'm going to be sharing that in another podcast. I'm going to share a story with you in another podcast, because I do believe that in small businesses, we understand that we need to be selling and we need to be comfortable selling. But sometimes when we're in that funk, when we're in that place of not feeling confident, selling can be the hardest thing that we can do. So we have to find ways to be able to overcome that. But today's topic is more around operations and with a bit of a flair on mindset. And then, of course, we always incorporate some kind of marketing and some kind of education in here. And education is actually going to be the answer for you today in this operational mindset day. So here we go. Here's what happens sometimes when you are out on a boat and something goes terribly wrong. If something goes wrong and you're on a boat, then you have a distress signal that you call. And it usually starts like this: Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Now, I'm sure you've all seen movies where this has been used, and hopefully none of you have ever had to do a Mayday while out in the middle of the ocean to be able to find, help or to be rescued type of thing. But this particular distress signal, it goes like this. Now, I've obviously changed the words on it to be able to fit the podcast here, but this is what it would look like. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. This is small business ABC. Mayday. This is small business ABC. I'm in blank city, USA, and my business is sinking. Please send a rescue coach. Okay. So if you were on a boat, you'd be saying Mayday, Mayday, Mayday 3 times. You would then say the name of your boat. You repeat Mayday, you repeat the name of your boat, and then you try to explain where you are. Now, obviously, you're on a boat, you're doing longitude and latitude directives as to where you're at, if that's what you need to do, or you could say that you are so many nautical miles off of a particular area. And then you would explain what your issue is, what your problem is, and what you need. Do you need a rescue boat? Do you need, an emergency standby? Do you need emergency help? Is somebody not well on the boat that you need to get some emergency, support to be able to help you with that particular person, type of thing. So then you would tell them what you actually need. So my question to you is, if there was a real option to scream Mayday, would you? If there was just this one signal that you could do in order to have a Mayday call out there, would you do it? And the truth is we all are doing it often. And sometimes we're overdoing it. Sometimes we don't really need the help. Sometimes we need to just go into our own mindset, our own heart, our own gut. And the answers are usually always there for us. Sometimes we reach out. Sometimes we, engage in some type of learning to be able to do that. So the truth is we're kind of all calling Mayday, Mayday, Mayday right now. And maybe more so than we ever have. We're looking for answers in a time that there are no answers. We're looking for explanations. We're looking for truths. We're looking for that ultimate support from maybe our like-minded people when they're looking for that same kind of ultimate support from you. So we're kind of like lost in this whirlpool right now of not knowing who to trust, not knowing what questions to even ask, and not knowing where we can get some of this support from. And nobody's immune to this at this point, you guys. Is as smart as we all are and as intelligent we are nobody's immune to this. I saw this one meme on Instagram the other day, and it showed Jeff Bezos, so the founder and owner of Amazon, and they said he's the richest man in the world and he's bald. So clearly, all of these things that can grow hair are not going to grow hair. Like there's no truth to that. Okay. Because here he is, the richest man in the world. And if he had the product, or if he wanted to use the product to be able to grow hair, would he? All right. So that's kind of like, maybe that's not a Mayday call that's important to him. But if you think about it, and you're making these Mayday calls anyway, what would come to the rescue for you? Okay. What's actually going to show up for you if you do make a Mayday call? All right. And typically what's going to show up for you is you first and foremost. So you might have a significant other or a team or a manager or those type of people that you would consider to be the close support people that you can share your weaknesses with, okay? And when you can share your weaknesses with, they probably have the same answer that you would already have anyway, okay? So the first thing that you do when we're in this high level of stress, where we're in this funk, when we're in this Mayday moment, the first thing we should be able to do is to be able to really go within our own selves and do a little bit of a self-evaluation before, jumping out and making a Mayday call, okay? Because when you're making a Mayday call, then that means that it's pretty serious in here. And that Mayday call is typically to be able to support you in areas that you're not an expert in areas that are dire. And most of the situations that we're in right now, we can pretty much figure it all out, okay? So the last year and up to this day, today, we've had to figure a lot out, and we've really relied on a lot of experts to be able to guide us in regards to what and how we're managing through all of these times. But we're getting a lot of mixed messages, and that's creating a lot of unknown circumstances for us. And so then we're going somewhere else and going, hey, Mayday, they're not giving me the answer that I want, or I'm not trusting their answer that they're giving me. So we have to be able to be really diligent in doing our own due diligence. So education and mindfulness is what's going to come up. So what would come to the rescue for you? Well, your own level of education and your own level of mindfulness, all right? What do you already know? Because that's a great place to start, is what you already know. Okay. And what are you feeling right now? Is that level of anxiety or lack of trust or fear of not surviving? If that's coming up, do you have the answers already to how you can overcome this, how you can survive? Okay. And a lot of it is in this education and mindfulness category is really looking at pulling the education that you already have, pulling your knowledge that you already have, or educating yourself on what you need to do. And the second thing I would say is you got to be really honest with yourself. All right. Do you really need the help that you're asking for, or can you manage this on your own? And to be able to trust yourself in that process of saying, do I need to make this Mayday call now, or can I figure this out? And it's okay if you can't figure it out, then make the Mayday call. Okay. Surround yourself with the people that are going to support you when you're in those Mayday moments. All right. But one of the ways that the only way that somebody's going to be able to really step in and be able to help you is if you can allow the help to be had. All right. And that means reducing your ego, because when we are unsure of something, or when we're uneducated about something, or when we don't have the answers to something, a lot of times our ego kind of like steps up and takes charge and says, don't worry, I've got you handled here. I'll make sure I protect you and everything's going to be fine. But what that prevents us from being able to do is to really feel and dive deeper into the inside of us, figuring out our own solutions and or being able to accept where we're at and then to be able to ask for help. Our ego is going to prevent us from asking for help. And you want to be able to maybe get the help that you need at that point in time. Okay. But I'm going to make a suggestion that you want to get help from the right people. All right. Broad scoping, questions thrown out into the universe may not give you the answers that you need, or may create even more confusion for you. But ultimately, in this education and mindfulness space here of getting the help that you need, is believing that you already have a lot of the answers to support you. Believing that you already have a lot of answers to support you. Okay. Now, I say this because the truth is I'm in this very precarious position right now where my work is exciting. My work is challenging. I'm learning new things. I'm constantly having to kind of like step up and take another level of learning in what I'm doing, because I'm not doing the same work that I was doing a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm evolving as a coach, as a person in this position, as a marketing expert. I have to continually evolve and learn and grow myself. But I'm also at this place right now where I feel as though I exerted an enormous amount of energy in 2020. And I say that because, in the 5 weeks that we were shut down here in Georgia, we never worked harder. Once we opened back up, we had to manage a level of working in a different capacity, working with a different mindset, working with being able to help overcome fears and emotions of other people. We've been working hard. And I kind of gave myself a little bit of a moment of pride in how quickly I kind of came to the rescue for some people, how quickly I was able to support other people. And as we kind of rolled into 2021, I was still feeling strong and competent and confident. But in the last month, I actually feel very burnt out. I feel very burnt out on what I can offer others at this point. And part of it is because I haven't really gotten away. I haven't really allowed myself to renew, revive, rejuvenate myself. I haven't done something for myself in quite a few months. And I realized that I needed to kind of allow myself that time to be able to do that. So I'm going to share a story with you guys from when I was at an event. Oh gosh, maybe 2018, might have been 2019. It was a Harms Millennial event, and I was on the panel with John Harms and quite a few other high-level people in our industry. And it was quite an honor to be on that panel and to be able to share some insights in regards to being able to build that confidence. Okay. So I was really talking about confidence and, the ability to ask for help. So this very same conversation is coming up right now for me. And as we were kind of engaging with the audience and allowing them to, get the microphone and be able to ask us questions and pick our brains in a sense a little bit, I said, I really just want to ask the audience in general. They've been great at asking us questions, but I want to ask the audience in general one question. And I asked, who is struggling right now and is afraid that their business is not going to survive beyond this year? And it was a very bold question. And it really put the audience in an absolute silent moment. Okay. Because people really had to step inside themselves and say, am I struggling? Am I feeling as though my business may not survive through this year? And there was no response. And it kind of it was just at the edge of getting awkward, where the facilitator was going to move on and not allow that awkward silence to do it. But the most important moment was for all of us to be sitting there in our chairs and self-evaluating that moment. Self-evaluating that question, okay? Am I struggling right now? And am I afraid, or do I fear that my business is not going to survive? Okay. That was it. I didn't say, unless you got the support that you needed. Okay. Because the minute we say something like, without getting the support that you need, or without taking this program, or buying my product, or becoming a client of mine as a coach, I didn't add that other part to it, because the minute I added that other part to it, it would have been a solicitation versus a general inquiry, a curious question. Okay. And eventually, in this awkward moment of silence, one person raised her hand. She raised her hand, and the people with the microphones in the audience went over to her. So I said to her, are you willing to share anything with us in regards to how you're feeling right now? And she shook her head yes. And so they went over with the microphone, and she stood up and she said, I'm here at this event because I felt like if I didn't do anything, I don't know how my business is going to survive. I don't know what I'm doing. And she completely, and in a most vulnerable way, expressed that she didn't know what she was doing and that she needed help. And you would not believe the transition in that room in that moment. Everybody realized that it was okay to be that vulnerable. Everybody realized that it was okay to ask for help. And after the panel session had ended, numerous people went over to her and thanked her for being so brave, thanked her for being vulnerable, thanked her for speaking up. And several people went over and said, how can I help you? What can I do for you? I can mentor you. Obviously, as coaches, as myself, Sam Villa was on the panel with me. We all went over and just offered up what we could to her, to just participate, to be actively engaged in something, because we did not want to see her fail. And afterwards, I had a chance to spend some time with her and in a coaching session, and she did commit to doing some coaching at that time. It wasn't with me, and it was okay. I was happy to be able to provide that kind of support for her. And I was just so grateful that she made the commitment to take something on. And today I see her on Facebook and Instagram, and I see that she's thriving. Now, she may not be producing the kind of money that she thought she was. She may not be as successful as she had anticipated to be, but I promise you her business is thriving, and she is thriving because I can see the confidence in who she's being. And so whatever work and whoever she ended up working with worked for her. Okay. It worked for her. And I'm very proud. I'm very proud of her to see that. And she should be very proud of herself to be able to see that. It changed the way the event went. It changed the moment in that event that people realized that as well as we could all think we're doing, the truth is we were all there because we needed a little bit more. We needed a little something. And over the last year and 2 months that we have not been able to actively engage and connect with other people has been quite a deficit for us. Because when we're not okay, we tend to hide out. And at this point, and as long as this has been going on with us, we're all hiding out right now and we're afraid to connect again. And I know that that's for me. Like my brand is a connector and I have not been connecting. I've been, sitting quietly with my head down, doing my work and working with the clients that I have, and managing all of the salon marketing that I do. So it's not like I'm not busy and not doing anything, but my mindset and my mindfulness is a little unsupported right now. And I do need some help. So here's ways that you can ask for help. You can go onto these social forums and you can ask for help. So if it's something really specific, there can be, a ton of people that will reply back with the kind of support that you need. However, I'm going to recommend, this is not my ideal recommendation, you guys. It is an option, but it's not my ideal recommendation. The problem with going on these social forums is you're never specific enough as to where you currently are and where you want to go. Okay. So what happens is that you're going to get 90% of the information is going to come across and it may be not relevant to your specific need. So if you could be specific with what you're asking, there's bound to be somebody that's going to be able to provide you the answer or the support that you need. Now, that's assuming that you're going to go onto a social forum that's maybe more business related or like-minded of your business. But there's a lot of other types of forums on social media that you can go into that are more spiritual or supportive or coach driven, to be able to maybe just get answers from another point of view and not necessarily just surrounded by business in there. Another way that you can ask for help is attend a class or a webinar. There's a wealth of information out there. And I've noticed that when 2020 started and we went into the lockdown, there was tons of options, there was so much going on, so many people that were there to help and to provide for it. And listen, people like me that are teachers, natural teachers, we do step up to be able to teach in those tough times like that. But now I actually need to be the student. I desire to be the student, as well as the teacher. So I have to balance both of them at this time. But attend a class or a webinar. These are online things. These are pre-structured things. Maybe it's a course or a program. Maybe it's a 5-day boot camp or a 2-day boot camp or whatever that is. Buy into an online course that you can take at the convenience of your own time. There's tons of stuff out there and most of it's pretty reasonably priced, okay? Maybe it's time to find a therapist. Maybe the overwhelm of everything that's happened over the last year has really set you back. And, some little course online is maybe not going to be enough. Maybe you really do need to talk to somebody and check in. Do a check-in for yourself and allow an expert in this field of therapy to be able to help you and support you. And there is some online therapist opportunities now. So you don't have to try and, set it up with your HMO provider, and then they provide you a reference and it's 3, 4, 5 weeks out before you might be able to actually get an appointment. Check into the ones that are happening online. I think there's a few of them out there that you can get that kind of support that you need via a Zoom call. Okay. They're just as qualified. But I think they can be more instantaneous for your specific needs. Okay. And then of course, I'm always going to recommend hiring a coach, and I say, and my coach that I've worked with for for a few years here has always said that there's no business problems. There's only personal problems that are then parlayed into our business. The problems we're having is our own self, our lack of confidence, our lack of knowledge, our lack of skills, and that we are not able to prosper our businesses because of personal issues that we are not challenging ourselves with. So I'm a firm believer that, hiring the right coach that can give you that life approach that can tie into business is going to be the ideal coach for you. You could say right now, I just need a coach to be able to help me with numbers or profits or accounting and stuff like that. And it's true, but I would say that that's probably more of an expert. Work with somebody that's an expert in regards to that, but it may not answer the questions that you might be having in regards to personal or the struggle that you're up against. And most importantly, in asking for help, you have to be able to commit to your own well-being. The oxygen mask theory goes on for days and days here that, you got to take care of yourself first before you can take care of anybody else. So if you're the salon owner out there, or the small business owner out there, and then you have people that are relying on you to be healthy and in a space of being well. And if you're not, figure out what you need to do in order to commit to that so that you can continue to keep prospering for the people that are in your life. And this includes your family as well at this point, okay? So I know this because there are times like right now for me that I need the support. I need inspiration. I need new knowledge. And sometimes I just need an ear to hear me out. And that's why ear is actually in the word hear, is because we have to be able to be better listeners right now for people. I'm not really in the mindset to learn new skills. I don't want to dive into new knowledge right now, but I do need more of a meditative or a spiritual support system around me right now. And I know that's probably going to help me more than anything. And I've made a plan. I've made a plan to get out of my Mayday funk here that I'm in, because I know what works for me. And I know the type of support that I need. So one is being able to look at the 3C method that I shared with you guys last week for communication success. But I'm going to turn that 3C method, I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to put it back on me, because this is how I'm going to get myself out of my funk. Okay. So remember, the 3C method was connection, compassion, and curiosity. So connection, source with that connective essence, start from that point. Where do I feel disconnected in my life? And how can I grasp more connection? Okay. Compassion. Where am I beating myself up? Where am I kind of like not allowing myself to be compassionate towards me? And how can I be more compassionate towards my circumstance right now and allow myself to feel what I'm going through? All right. And then, of course, curiosity, asking the really tough questions to myself and not evading the answers, really answering those tough questions, engaging what maybe I can do, what actions I can take in order to allow myself to be in this state of mind, this Mayday funk, get through this Mayday funk and come out of this Mayday funk feeling more competent and confident in myself at this point in time. So I'm looking at ways to be able to do that. So here's my plan of action. Maybe some of these ideas might be able to help you as well. I feel very disconnected, so I am going to connect with others. I'm going to connect with others and I'm going to connect with myself a little bit more. So I've committed to doing a phone call a week to a friend or a comrade, somebody that, that I have a relationship with in the industry, just to be able to check in with them, talk with them, just hear them out and allow them to hear me out and provide that support for them. And in turn, get that support that I need to feeling more connected. I am going to do more live sessions. Although when I'm in this funk, I don't really want to be that exposed. I don't want to be that vulnerable. I don't want to be that out there and that. But I'm going to challenge myself to step into a couple different lives, Facebook lives or Instagram lives, to be able to just share where I'm at right now. I'm going to commit to actually getting together with more people. So I'm going to start making plans with people. I don't have a fear of COVID. I don't feel as though I need to overly protect myself. I'm taking the appropriate precautions as needed. and feeling as though life can start to come back around. So I'm going to start calling up friends and other couples and start engaging and going out to dinner or happy hours and things like that, and bringing some of that life back that's been missing. I know for a fact that meditation is a absolute positively amazing thing for me to do. I'm not the best meditator, and I know many are not, but even if I can get 20 minutes in, 10 minutes or 20 minutes of meditation a day, it really changes the life. It creates that internal spiritual part of me that I haven't been able to capture if I'm not going to a regular Sunday service or listening to my favorite reverend online. If I'm not doing that on a regular basis, meditation is really a place for me to be able to start. And of course, getting out and moving more. So, the weather's getting nicer. It's a beautiful, beautiful spring day today. The sky is blue. It's 76 degrees. I'm going to get out and do a nice little walk before this day is over with and just appreciate the quality of the day that it is. And I know that I can continue to do that more because we're going to have better days moving forward here. Okay, so that was the connection piece. So connecting with others and connecting with myself. The compassion piece for me, this is the part where you really have to allow yourself some forgiveness, okay? I have to be okay with the little productivity that I might be producing right now. I'm not producing really big things right now. I'm kind of sitting in an idle space because I don't have much to draw from. I can't keep pulling from nothing. And part of that is that I just need to replenish myself in order for my creativity to come back and step back in. But I am going to accept small wins and small results. I'm going to pride myself on any small win and any small result that I'm achieving. And I'm going to trust that my creativity comes back and I'll be rocking it soon, okay? But for now, I feel like I really need to be in a hibernation mode of allowing myself just this time and being compassionate towards myself and replenish my soul. And then the third piece, curiosity. I'm going to ask the hard questions of me. What can I do to be in a better space? What can I do to get out of this funk? What can I do? What's my Mayday call that I need to be doing to get the support that I need? Okay. And to some of that, answering some of that question, I've just shared that. And I'm going to be open to hearing what others have to offer for me to be able to help me get some next steps. So I've set up a couple calls with some friends, confidants, coaches, collaborative people that I know, to be able to just kind of hear where they're at, allow them to hear where I'm at, and then trust that we can support each other in what we're all about at this time. So I can continue to replenish my soul and know that, things are definitely going to get better. But here's what I can also say, you guys. I'm a trained life coach. I'm a certified and trained life coach. And the reason why I became a life coach and the reason why I became a coach at all and in general is because I hired a coach that really helped me get through the difficult times. And I developed an entire business around being a coach to be able to help others during very difficult times. I went back into my training. I went back into my coaching program that I offer, and I reviewed the content that I share with my clients. And I know these tools work. And today, instead of requesting you to hire a coach for your business, hire a coach for your life. Okay, look at it as a life coaching moment. Look at it as, my business is going to prosper, but right now everybody's businesses are struggling a little bit, but things are going to get better and we're going to prosper. Maybe what I need that support from a life coaching standpoint. So I've got a fabulous program that I'd love to be able to offer you if anybody's interested in that. But ultimately, you guys, if you're just interested in having a conversation with me, to be able to maybe get something really heavy and really hard off your chest, I can be there for you. Okay. I can be there for you. And here's a really great quote to be able to kind of wrap up with today on: each person deserves a day away in which no problems are confronted, no solutions are searched for. Each of us needs to withdraw from cares which will not withdraw from us. And that is, of course, the famous Maya Angelou making that quote there. And it's true. We might need to just chillax a little bit, okay? So even though today was kind of from an operations standpoint, I'm operating at a lower capacity right now. I don't have systems and structure set up right now because my Mayday call is screaming at me and my engines are not running right now. So I know that from an operational standpoint, I need to idle a little bit in this moment, maybe ask for help, maybe, do some soul searching as to what I need in order to be able to be more freely aware of the struggles I'm in and I'm facing. And that becomes kind of like that mindset conversation. So we covered a lot of ground today in our some strategy here. But if anybody is, if you guys are at a place where you really want to be able to set up a call with me and just provide and get that support, no sales pitch, no, of course I'll always, you'll know how to find me, you'll know how to be able to reach out if you feel like it's a good fit. But if you're at that place where you're just not sure what to do or how to do it, then I'm going to suggest that you just set up a time with me, and I'll walk you through it. I'll talk you through it. Because I understand where you're at. I'm not saying that I'm so far beyond it that I can't be in the space with you to be able to say, here's what I'm doing to support me. Maybe I can make some suggestions to be able to support you. And how you can do that is you can go to connectwithbonnie.com. That's connectwithbonnie.com, and just set up a free time on my calendar. I would rather connect with you and do this kind of work right now than to be spending a bunch of time trying to produce a new program or content at this point. I want to be able to let you know that I'm there for you. And in turn, I know that will help me to be able to come out of my Mayday funk as well. So, all right, we're getting out of our Mayday funk. That's what we're going to do. March is around the corner. Spring is coming. The seasons are changing. And so we need to make sure that we're changing right along with them. All right, you guys, thanks for joining me today on the SOS Small Business Coaching and podcast. And remember that I'm helping to help you to build your brand, whether it's personal or business. But most importantly, I want to be able to help you develop ways that you can thrive. All right, until next week. And we have a special guest next week that's going to be with us, and we're going to be talking about mindset again. So be sure to join us. And this podcast airs every Wednesday. And you can find it on Anchor, Spotify, all of those good channels on there. Plus on my Facebook page at Bonnie Bonadeo. And my Instagram page at Bonnie Bonadeo. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.